Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to our budget community portfolio series for the month of January 2025. Excuse me. Sorry for being a little late this month. I've been dealing with a really bad sickness and I'm still recovering from it, but I'll do my best to get through this video and thank you for your support on that. Now, if you are new to this series, this is not my larger private portfolio. This is the smaller public community one where I only deposit $100 each month into this new account that I created from scratch. And then I use that money to invest in stocks, some of which is also influenced by you guys through various polls, as well as the different comments and messages that you send me. And then we do these monthly update videos broken up into 3 parts, covering first how the portfolio is doing so far and all the trades I made last month in December. And we look at how each individual stock is performing, either up or down, and what I plan to buy in the current month of January. And then at the end, I finish up with just a few comments from you guys and give some really quick responses to them in kind of a rapid fire style. A little bit of housekeeping though before we start. If you'd like to get full access to this portfolio, as well as our private community Discord where you can reach me, hang out with other members, and even get access to my daily stock trade where I post a new stock purchase every single day for this portfolio, then you can get access to all of that by supporting me on Patreon. Link is in the description. It's $5 a month for all of those features, and there's other tiers available as well. But thank you so much for really all the support, all my amazing supporters. I couldn't do this without you, so thank you for that. And also just a quick heads up, for this portfolio we use SoFi, which I absolutely love using and I highly recommend it. Even if you already use Robinhood or some other platform, you can create a new account on SoFi. It's 100% free, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll even get a bonus $25 worth of stocks absolutely free too, just for signing up. It's really cool, so make sure you give it a try. But with all that said, it's time now to jump into this video, starting with part 1. So let's take a look at how the portfolio is holding up so far and what moves we made last month in December to finish out the year. All right, so in total, the account has now grown to over $1,800 in just a little over a year, at about 22% gains in total and just over $330 worth of profit. But if we exclude the cash portion, well, our actual stock investments are up even more at 26% gains too, which is very strong for a really young portfolio like this. So I'm definitely happy to see that. A lot of people actually lose money their first year investing just because of how hard it can be to get started and make all the right picks at the right time in the market. But thankfully, we've done a great job so far. Speaking of which, last month in December, I spent the total of our monthly budget, $100, on stocks, which was one of our most active months of the year. However, that also includes the first week of January because I am late this month. But in total, I spent $45 on Vici Properties. That was by far our biggest purchase. It's a REIT that I am just in love with right now because of how much the stock price has come down, with the dividend yield also rising up to, it's about like 6%. I think that's extremely high, very attractive for such a solid business like the one that Vici has. So I've been scooping up as much as I can right now. Same thing goes for EXR, Extra Space Storage. Hasn't been dropping quite as much as Vici, but it's been falling, and I love their business and their mouth-watering dividend just as much as Vici. So I picked up another $15 of that one, with another $10 each going to Amazon, Medtronic, and Microsoft. 3 core stocks there that I also really love, and those are also some of my biggest stocks in my larger private portfolio as well. And then just another $5 each spent on C3.ai, one of my favorite AI stocks for the future, and on Pfizer, just a really beaten down biotech with a huge dividend. All right, moving on to part 2 though, let's take a look now at what our best and worst performers are and which stocks I plan to buy here in January as well. Okay, so here's all the holdings on SoFi. If you want to take a closer look at these, I post all of the screenshots in greater detail on our Discord. But for now, we'll just use some custom charts here to make the information a little easier to see, which, like usual, we have 7 stocks making up over half of the entire portfolio, those being Google, Amazon, Palantir, SoFi. Both of those last two recently soared. And then Microsoft, Vici Properties, which is the newest stock addition. So kind of shows you just how much I've been buying of that one. And then Pfizer at the end there, which I'm mostly okay with the way those are structured there, those seven being at the top. Some might argue that SoFi and Pfizer are maybe a little too high there. Perhaps some safer stock choices could be there instead. But rather than doing some selling, even on the stocks that have risen by a lot, I actually just prefer to buy up other stocks a little more and balance out the portfolio that way. And especially picking up some safer options to make them larger in the portfolio, bring them in perhaps into the top seven. And I can just tell you right now, especially some stocks that I think are looking very solid at their current valuations, like Medtronic, Verizon, and Extra Space Storage. I mean, those three right there are dirt cheap right now with also amazing dividends that I would love to collect more of. Same goes for Tyson Foods at only around 2% of the portfolio. I think we could definitely add some more of that one here in the coming month, and maybe even a little more of C3.ai too. Wouldn't be so bad either. It has risen a lot recently, but at only around 2% of the portfolio, I think we could still be doing some small buying for that long-term exposure to AI. Turning over to how each stock is performing individually, though, we'll separate these so that it's a little easier to see here. But starting first with the double-digit gainers, we have many stocks here, but Palantir, Tesla, and SoFi are the top three performers by a wide margin, around 1 to 200% gains each, which I'm extremely happy with. Then a couple of AI stocks in NVIDIA and C3 being up around 50% each, followed by several more in the 30% range, including our two largest holdings in Google and Amazon. Very happy to see that as well, two of our biggest stocks performing so well. And then a few more just under that at around 20% gains each. So lots of great stocks here performing very well on this page. Really, most of our stocks here are just doing phenomenally well. Turning over, though, to the single-digit gainers, there's three here that I can immediately tell you that I want to buy more of in the coming month. And that would be Microsoft, Tyson, and EXR. Those are just very clear buys for, how small of a percentage gain I currently have on them. Obviously, Microsoft is not a cheap stock, but Tyson and EXR do have very low valuations with big dividends. So definitely looking to buy more of those. And then finally, taking a look over at the losers page, excuse me, I can say with confidence that I would absolutely love to buy more of pretty much all of these. I mean, some might argue that Baidu is a little too risky being a Chinese stock, which I can understand right now given the tariff concerns and other things, going on related to China, but I still like them long term. However, the other stocks are just even better for me. I mean, being negative on stocks like Medtronic, Verizon, Pfizer, and Vici, those are dirt cheap valuations, really good businesses, huge dividends, and I just gotta pick up more of those while I still can at these prices. Okay, with that said, though, I just added another fresh $100 for January's budget, which brought the account up to over $1,900. And currently, we hold about 400 of that in cash, leaving us with a cash ratio of just over 20% versus our actual stock investments. But it's time now to finish up the video, guys, with what is my favorite part every month, responding to some comments from you guys. So let's run through these really quick. As always, you can leave comments down below too, or on Patreon, or especially Discord. I love to hear from you there. I can respond directly and may even include them in next month's video too. But we'll go ahead and start here with a couple YouTube comments first, and then we'll collect some from Discord to finish it off. But first up here, we have actually a really funny one. This one's from John Huston on YouTube. Said, excuse me, he said, I was wondering when you were going to hurt your fingers the way you wave them paws around. Hope it heals quickly. The reason why that's funny to me is because I've gotten so many comments from people saying that I'm so animated sometimes in my videos that I wave my hands around a lot. And if you're actually like an old school viewer of mine, you might remember that I used to record my videos standing up, and I had even a bigger Surface tablet than this one, and I used to wave that thing around, like making my points. I would like wave it around, and I used to get so many comments from people saying, dude, that thing is gonna go flying one of these days because you're always like waving it around like crazy. But now I record on a table and it's just sitting there, so it's a little safer. But yeah, actually, I ended up hurting this finger from playing basketball, and I've had this brace on it here Had to use a brace for, it's been about 2 months now, and hopefully I can take it off soon and stop using it as much. It's a bit better now. I can do more things, but for a long time there, I had to do everything with just one hand, and I'm like a baby on that. Like that was so annoying to me. Like I hated doing everything with just one hand. You don't realize how much you use both hands until you can't use one. But what I do want to say though is, man, my heart and prayers go out to people that are like paralyzed or missing limbs, or have health issues and stuff where they can't use like all their body and full range of motion and all that, because I'm a baby with just one finger getting messed up. Can you imagine the struggles that those people go through, much bigger issues? Like, those are very strong people. Those are like my heroes. So my heart and prayers, go out to them. That's one thing I started praying more for those people. Like that's one, because I realized how much, again, I'm like a baby for just one finger, and I never stop to think about what other people are going through, and much worse. So I added that to my prayers now. I pray for those people now too. Excuse me. Okay, so let's move on to the next comment here. We have another YouTube comment from B. Excuse me, guys. We have B Jornos, who said, to make your videos even better, you should add a topic of dividends made each month, and also dividends received since day one. Keep up the good work. Greetings from a fire guy living in the land of smiles, Thailand. So I'm guessing fire guy means firefighter, and if so, thank you for your service. Quick thing about Thailand, I've never been, but fun fact, I'm a huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. I grew up like, I had like all the movies of Van Damme. I was a huge fan. I still am. And one of his best movies, Kickboxer, was filmed in Thailand. So I always kind of thought Thailand was a cool place. And even now, it looks beautiful. But thank you for the kind words there. And oh yeah, as for your suggestion, you mentioned dividends. I actually plan to include dividends as part of the analysis, so I will be doing that hopefully soon. I was just kind of waiting for the dividends to become larger because the portfolio is so young and still small. I felt like, people might not care that much because the dividends are kind of meaningless at the moment. But as this portfolio gets bigger, as we buy more dividend stocks, yeah, those dividends will start snowballing. They'll become bigger over time. And then that absolutely has to be part of our analysis. And I will be including that. But yeah, I'll try to figure out a good way of incorporating it in the not too distant future. Okay, next up, we have another YouTube comment. This one from the Hobby Shop says, the portfolio is doing great. Thanks for the update. Thank you, my friend. I'm definitely pleased with how it's going so far, and I appreciate your comment. And we have a really good comment here from Live Free. It's a comment that I strongly agree with. This person says, you are right to not chop off your winners at the knees and just buy more of the stocks you want as a larger position. That's what I do as well. That said, if something is a scream in my face buy, I will continue to overweight it. So that's actually in response to what I said last month, which is that I balance out my portfolio by not selling my bigger stocks, not selling my best performers, but instead buying more of the smaller stocks that I have or wherever I see value. And the reason why, it's not that I'm opposed to selling stocks, don't get me wrong. I think it's okay to cash in profits 100%, but a couple things. Number one, this portfolio is just so small that I'm in the process of accumulating. I want more accumulation. I want more money in this portfolio. I want more stocks. So I want to be buying. I want to build it up big. We're in the process of building right now. The long-term gains will come long-term. They'll come years from now. And once that happens, then yeah, I can start selling off some stocks. But reason number two, not just for the long-term potential of gains, which in my opinion, like you always get the bigger gains with stocks if you invest in them long term as opposed to trading short term. That's just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on that. But it's not just that, but it's also because if I sell stocks longer term, you also get tax benefits on that too. So I prefer to sell out longer term to also save money on the taxes as well. Okay. What else we got here? We got another comment on YouTube, this one from Freddie, who says, what is your plan on Alibaba? I owned it for quite a while and seems like a sell considering Trump tariffs. So yeah, that one's a tough one for me. I am still holding my position long term in Alibaba just because of how cheap the valuation is. I can't believe such an amazingly strong company and the stock price has crashed by so much. Dirt cheap valuation. If it wasn't for being a Chinese company, a Chinese stock, I would be buying so much of this stock. But obviously, if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be at these prices, right? So, um, but I still got to hold it long term just for me. What I do is I limit my exposure to it. So because I acknowledge the risk, it's a Chinese stock. There's many risks that come with that. And in the shorter term, tariffs are a big one. You might remember in Trump's first administration, he slapped on tariffs. Chinese stocks tanked. The overall market dipped too, tanked too, but stocks in particular crashed. Chinese ones. So yeah, shorter term, Trump tariffs is a concern for Chinese stocks. If that gets worse, if escalation to rising tensions with China could get worse, but longer term, it's just such a dirt cheap valuation for such an amazingly strong company that okay, I'll take a little bit of it. I won't get overly exposed. I'll take a little bit of it and I'll just have that long term just in case. And we'll see how it plays out. If some of these short term issues go away, then I can always add more later on too. But I'm not selling them. I'm holding on to what I got. Okay, let's finish up here with some comments from Discord. This will be fun. So under the discussions tab, we have Gambino asking, what does everyone think of AMD with its big drop? To which Jason said, I bought some just in case. I like the dip. And then Jason asked me personally, Ali, do you think you will add any new stocks to the community portfolio soon? I would suggest AMD, like Gambino said, as well as Intel, Target, Broadcom, Apple, CRISPR, QUBT, or Qualcomm. Just some stocks off the top of my head to consider. It says maybe Ford, Vail, and and PepsiCo. Okay, so to respond, I like AMD also. I'm not buying it. It used to be one of my biggest stocks. I made a huge amount of money on AMD. Old school viewers will remember that. I made tons of videos on that. But more so lately, just had been investing in NVIDIA more. But yeah, AMD has come down a bit. I do like it. I think AMD is a very solid like alternative choice to NVIDIA. I think they play a key role at more affordable pricing, also compared to Intel as well on the CPU side of things. But I think AMD has a lot of future promise. So I like it. I don't have it, but I do like it. To what Jason said, asking me if I will add a new stock. Yes, absolutely. I've been wanting to add new stocks to the community portfolio. Only reason I've been holding back is because I was getting comments from people saying that we own too many stocks in the portfolio, which I can understand. It can be a lot to keep track of. But the way I am, I just love investing in stocks. So I'm always looking for the next great stock. So I'm always picking up more. And I do want to add another new one. I think it's a fun thing to do. Also, just because this is a community portfolio, I think it's fun to introduce new stocks as well. So I will run a poll. I have to do it on Discord. I can't do it on YouTube because YouTube only gives me 4 options for a poll, which is ridiculous. I don't know why they lowered it to just 4, but Discord lets me do many options. So what I will do is I will do a Discord poll and I will include a lot of the stocks mentioned here. I am going to make some changes though. I got to swap Ford for GM because I really like GM. So I'll put them in there. Also going to put American Tower as an option. Really cheap REIT right now with a great dividend. Also probably include First Solar. Those 2 stocks were in my 3 stocks January video. As you know, I just added those to my personal portfolio. So I'd like to put them as options too. But yeah, there's a lot of stocks there that we don't own in the community one, like, Apple and Broadcom and Qualcomm and, several others. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. And that'll be fun. We'll have a new stock added in January. And then by February's monthly update video, we'll get to talk about it. So it'll be a fun thing to talk about. Okay, last up here, guys, we'll just go to the buys and trades tab, where Maida said, recently bought some Big Bear AI. Tim said, I'm going to be buying Chinese stocks this year. They are getting dirt cheap. To which Michael responded, Alibaba looks good, but I don't trust the rest. I've been adding CCL, Nike, Target on their dips. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on those. Leap of Faith said, bought Pfizer, hope it's a good buy. Jason said, I like Target too. I've been buying it up, as well as AMD and Intel and some others. Then again, Jason said Pfizer is a steal. I think down the road, I have a lot of it. And then Leap of Faith responded, I have been eyeing Intel as well, looking at how far it has fallen. To which Jason responded, they have a lot of rebound potential. Could get worse, obviously, but it's hard to imagine we would ever be in this situation to begin with on Intel stock price. Okay, so I hope you guys don't mind me leaking out so many of your comments there, your conversation, but I just thought it was cool, so I wanted to include it. It got, my assessment of all of this, to be honest, I kind of feel like you guys are looking for value. If I was to analyze what you guys are trying to do here, because you're talking about a lot of stocks that are falling a lot, that are dipping. Someone mentioned like Pfizer, Intel, someone mentioned Target, that mentioned Chinese stocks. So, and Nike, I think too. So, stocks that have been coming down, AMD. And yeah, that just tells me you guys are looking for value, which I totally understand. The market is up a lot, but individually, there's lots of stocks out there, if you're willing to look for them, that have actually fallen a lot and could be considered a good value. Personally, I like most of the stocks listed on here. Not a big fan of Target myself, or even Nike. When it comes to like pure play retail like that, I just like something like Amazon. That's all I need for me. But some interesting stocks there for sure. So, someone mentioned like Pfizer and Intel. Like, who'd have thought that they'd be this low? I would have never thought they'd be this low. Pfizer, you're talking like the biggest biotech in the world. And look, let me make it clear. For sure, these companies have issues, and there's a reason why their prices have come down. But these are companies that are very dominant. Well, Intel has a lot of issues, right? But Pfizer, for example, made a ton of money during the pandemic, and they used that to acquire tons of other companies. And now they're going to eventually benefit from all of that. And yet the market just continues to trade it as if it's just going to keep going downhill. And same thing goes for Intel. Intel has a lot of issues, but they're so important for chip development and chip manufacturing for the West as an American company, that I just think they're too important to really let go under. And they're going to be really important to kind of fend off Asia, and obviously, China and Taiwan, and what's going on between them and China and all that. So who knows, on the Western side of things in America, I think there will continue to be, certain incentives and subsidies to help Intel. So I just want to have some of that just in case, because it has fallen by so much. I would have never thought Intel would be at this position. And I think they could still rebound and perform relatively well. I think there will be demand for different options in the future. But yeah, if I was to just kind of tell you guys, where do I see value right now? I see the most value in dividend stocks. I mean, I've seen some dividend stocks trading dirt cheap. I actually just made a video on that recently. And there are many great dividend stocks that I think have kind of come down a lot, for many reasons, economy and everything, but also because interest rates were so high that dividends just weren't as attractive. And I think the market kind of dismissed them. But over time, I think interest rates will come down, and I think people will start to realize the value of these dividend stocks. And that's when I expect them to rebound. So I've been loading up on dividend stocks while I can, locking in these high yields so that in the future, I can benefit from not just their prices hopefully recovering, the stock price, but also from locking in those really high yields that I'm locking in now while they're high because the stock price is low. But hey, that's just my opinion. Anyway, I think that'll do it for this month's video. We'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you so much for stopping by, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I love making these for you. And thank you for all your support with everything going on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hope you're all doing well and staying safe out there. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks again, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.